What is up, YouTube, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first time and you enjoy the video, hey, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to follow along with more of this and keep up with this project. In this video, short, sweet, and to the point, I'm going to show you how I turned this old, dilapidated, water ruined, trim falling off, tabletop cracked, pop-up camper table, and I took just a few very inexpensive pieces of wood that you are going to see here, pine and decorative board, and turned this into an absolutely beautiful table that you see here. This was not hard. I think total all-in cost was around $50. That includes the epoxy that you actually don't see yet. I haven't gotten to that step. That will be a whole nother video. So like I said, if you'd like to follow along, I will be doing that in a later video. I live in Pittsburgh, so it is 18 degrees outside right now, and my garage is not heated very well, so I won't be doing any epoxying anytime soon. As you can see here, there are some steps I am just going to have to describe to you because I neglected to take those pictures, but I'll at least give you an idea of how I took care of this and went through the process step by step. So first here, what I did is I had some strong, I believe the pine board was 3/4 inch thick and the decorative board was only 1/4 inch thick. That gave me my 1 inch thickness that I needed to accommodate for the original thickness of the table. So I cut it all out to a length that was 2 inches wider than the original table and 2 inches longer than the original table. Took all of those boards, I ran the pine boards lengthwise of the table and ran the decorative boards widthwise of the table. Glued that all together with a construction grade wood glue, put some weight on that, put some clamps on that, and actually let that sit for about 24 hours before I did anything with it. So then, as you see here, I have it sitting on top of the old table. So this is kind of how I followed into the next process. I made sure that everything was to the correct measurement, put it back on the new table, clamped it down to the old table, and then used my router with a 1.25 inch cutting bit with the guide bearing on the bottom. So that way I could trace the old table and cut out the new boards to follow the exact measurements of the table. One thing I highly recommend doing is make sure you take the trim off of the outside of the old table if you want to get that exact measurement, or if you're going to be using trim on your new design. In this case, I haven't, so I actually left the trim on so that I can make the edge of the table a little bit wider. And you'll see why whenever I get into the video where I take you for the step-by-step where I'm going to put the epoxy top and everything on here and actually build the edge out and round it over. But as you can see here, these are just different angles of the table once it was finished and cut out from the old table. I was actually able to save the old hardware from the table. There was nothing wrong with that. It was just the top was cracked and broke. One thing you'll notice in these pictures, especially this one, I forgot to put something down to stop the router from scratching the top of the wood. It didn't really scratch into it, but now you can see a little outline about 3 or 4 inches in from where the other edge of the router was rubbing off the wood. That I actually was able to fix with just some 300 grit sandpaper and rubbing over it real lightly, it fixed it. Now for transferring the legs over to the table, that was just as simple. All I did was I left the old table clamped to the new table, actually added 4, one on each corner of the table, flipped the table over, took the old hardware off of the old table, left them clamped sorry, together, and took a 1/8 inch drill bit and went through the old table, drilling directly through to the new table. That way I was able to get each of my marks from where the table legs bolted directly from the old table, transferred that over to the new table, and it worked absolutely perfect. So I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope there was some useful information in there, or at least if you liked the project, please hit that like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to follow along with the progress of this pop-up and other things, and hit that bell for notifications if you'd like to keep up with it. So I want to thank you for joining me today, and please just keep being you while I am just being me.